So Mike wanted to watch a movie called what, Mike?
Well, I don't know if I wanted to watch it. I think we decided, let's check it out. I mean, it wasn't like I was like, yo, we have to watch the slasher. No Holds Barred, which was a movie from, what year? 89.
Starring who?
Starring Hulk Hogan. Oh, starring somebody else?
No, just laughing at this.
Oh,
A movie starring Hulk Hogan. Every time Hulk Hogan stars in a movie, you know it's going to be not good.
Well, let me ask you a question. Was Hulk Hogan the first wrestler to star in a major motion picture, or before the wrestlers started doing that, or was this somebody else?
I'm sure he was the first.
He's probably the first, right?
He was the one who kind of made it mainstream.
Right, he did, and that was the birth of WWF Studios, or whatever they have, the WWE Studios.
Well, this movie, I don't know what the.
But that was the first wrestling movie that they made with wrestlers in it, right? From the WWE Studios. I don't think that. Yeah, Suburban Commando, which I think it came afterwards.
I can't say I ever had the pleasure of watching.
Oh my God! Let me put it on right now. I gotta put it on right now. Suburban Commando. Oh my God. See, I'm more open-minded when it comes to these kind of like crappy type wrestling films. Is any wrestling film well, we'll talk about this and then we'll get into it later. Let's talk about No Holds Barred right now. Let's talk about, and I want to look at it from a perspective of how I liked it as a child watching it in the 80s, 90s, and how I watched it now. Because I only seen it like once or twice before
I
now.
hated this. When I was a kid, I saw this in the movies. I was a huge little kid.
You were Hulkamaniac.
Oh, yeah, little kid, of course, watched wrestling. Hulkamaniac, of course. I hated this movie. I watched that too. I was like, what the hell did I watch? I was like,
and I would have to say that I loved the movie when I watched it.
And me and him just watched this, and I feel the same exact way.
And I feel the same exact way too. I mean,
what the hell did we just watch?
This movie,
it
still holds up.
It holds nothing.
I'm not saying that it's a Marlon Brando Academy Award-winning performance by anybody.
That's totally what I was expecting.
Okay, but even if you weren't so you weren't expecting that. What were you expecting though? Like
an entertaining movie. This wasn't an entertaining.
It was entertaining.
It's stupid as hell.
Oh come on! No Holds Barred was entertaining. Let me tell you something. I think even people that weren't wrestling fans of Hogan would probably have liked this movie. Now you made a comment that you said the movie would be better if it didn't have Hogan in it, right?
Okay, so why don't we start dipping into the?
Let's start dipping.
The plot line.
Let's start dipping.
Dipping in the plot line.
That's all it's about. It's about dipping.
And plot lines.
And plot lines. If you want to look, what do you think? The plot is going to be great. Who cares what the plot is?
So just say what the hell. All right, what is it? Rip is all right. Sorry. Hulk Hogan.
Who plays Rip?
Is playing Rip.
First name Rip.
Is Rip. Yes. Okay. So
last name
Go into Rip. His name is on his driver license.
Rip.
His driver's license says
Apostrophe is his middle name.
Comma Rip.
A comma, right? Rip.
So, all right.
Okay.
So, what's going on after Rip'em is defending the?
Basically, it starts off as him as a fighter, a very popular fighter, and I still don't even realize.
A fighter.
Is he a wrestler or is he a?
He's a professional wrestler.
He's a professional wrestler. Okay, and basically, it's almost like the whole Mr. T and Rocky thing, where Mr. T at Clubber Lang had challenged Rocky, because Rocky was the top of his game. So Rip'em was a wrestler, and then what happened? The network executive tried to sign.
Oh, that network. Oh, that guy who plays the network.
Which we thought it's Brell. His name is Brell. Let's get it correct.
All right, he's supposed to be Ted Turner. Well, I'll go later on into that.
It's a whole Ted Turner thing. He was supposed to sign. They had a meeting. Rip'em had a meeting. Rip'em. That's his first name. Rip had a meeting with the executive Brell.
Yes.
And basically, what ended up happening is that he denied the contract and shoved the check down the executive.
Well, he was also being a dick to him.
He was being a little bit of a dick. Yes, correct. To use the.
He wasn't trying to really what's the term? Schmooze?
No,
You wasn't trying to schmooze him.
Right, it wasn't like a quarterback that was trying to get wowed by a team. No.
Yeah.
This was like, you're fighting for me now.
He was just like, sign this check, you jock ass. He kept calling him a jock ass.
And that's where this whole beef started. Let's take it back to where the whole beef started in that very meeting. And then once he called him a jackass, Rip did one of his many facial expressions. And he has a lot of facial expressions.
Dead.
Yeah, bad ones, but it still says 1,000 words. But he's just like, whoa. And basically he took the check that he was offered, and we don't even know what the amount was. And he showed
it was a blank check.
Oh, a blank check.
He specifically said this is a blank check.
Oh, so he wasn't writing checks that his ass can't cash.
Yeah.
He was like, just write your amount in.
Oh yeah.
But instead of that, he takes the blank check, shoves it down the executive's throat, and then decides, let me just take the same limo ride back home that the executive provided for me.
Oh jeez, the trap limo?
The trap limo! And as we were watching this just pretty much 10 seconds ago, before we started this, we're like, where the hell was he driving to?
Also, a lot of moments in this movie where there was like, when you say certain lawsuits should be involved.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of Me Too moments as well.
With these shady business practices.
Oh, 100%.
You figure you have someone in a supervillain limo where you trap people in there.
You trapped the guy in a limo, and thank God Rip was able to hold his own and fight the guys off. But what were they trying to do to him?
That's a good question.
I mean, were they going to kill him? Were they going to beat him up? And where's the, this is a network executive.
Oh, all right.
Are they trying to say that Ted Turner was really that bad?
Well, later on, there was an instance where they did want him murdered on live television. We'll get into that later.
We'll get into that as we go on.
But as we understand, Brell or Brill, whatever the hell, because they pronounce it the two different ways twice.
Well, two different people. One guy pronounced it Brill and one guy pronounced it Brell. But
this guy doesn't care about murder.
No. He
obviously by the
as long as he gets the ratings, that's what it's all about. Right. He don't give a shit who he kills. I mean,
so we're gonna have to deal with multiple lawsuits. No, I just care about ratings.
No, I just care.
I'll murder people on live television.
And if they were trying to allegedly make it that he was Ted Turner, they really painted him in a bad light, like he's some kind of monster.
Okay, well, alright, I'll say right now.
Okay.
The comparison to him is because Ted Turner had just bought,
at the time the movie came out,
the rights for the NWA and turned it into, well, it was called Jim Crockett Promotions, part of the NWA.
Jim Crockett?
Jim Crockett Promotions.
Wasn't Crockett one of the
hillbillies? Turned it into WCW.
Oh, that was Crotchet. I'm thinking about the Scrooge, okay?
Turned it into the WCW. And Ted Turner was competing against Vince McMahon.
So I guess it makes sense, but it's all alleged. Ted Turner don't want to be painted in that kind of light.
No, it's not alleged.
Oh, it really is a fact? It came out that it was written?
No, I'm saying what I was saying when you went into the stupid crotchet thing that you were talking about.
Well, okay, fine. Even though it's based on it, the guy's a maniac. He takes a limo home, and what ends up happening? Rip him. Basically.
That's the other thing, rip him.
Yeah, you have to do the rip him sign.
That means a lot.
And every time he was about to kick ass, he would do that rip him sign, which is basically the same like Rock's signal sign.
Yeah, rip him.
Yeah, all you have to do is put the other finger up and you have that's pretty much the...
And even if your brother gets crippled fighting Zeus, he could be in a wheelchair and he starts doing this.
Well, before we get into that, going back into the whole thing, that's when they introduced Zeus as basically he was going to end up coming into...
Oh, wait, no. So, Brell wants to start a rival to Rip's company.
Yes.
So he starts the Battle of the Tough Guys.
Okay, which is, I guess, what Ted Turner did.
Which is just what, Mike?
Ted Turner did,
No, Battle of the Tough Guys, what we just watched. It's just underground...
underground street fighting, pretty much. No rules. But what?
In like bars.
Oh yes.
Shit like that.
Yes, and I would love to go to one of those, like I had mentioned to you one day, but when we watched it on TV, the one they went to was a little extreme. A lot of things going on there. The only rules is that there are no rules. Pretty much, you could just kill anybody. In this specific movie, there was no police at all, but there was a lot of fucking damage.
There was no police at all in this movie.
No police, but everybody got hurt or killed. But,
You just brought that to my mind. There was not a single person dressed up as a cop in this entire movie.
There was no law and order. It was just about the fighting. And, you know, who knows, the police may be betting on the fight. But Ripper was a good guy, and this guy...
but Rip is a wrestler. And these guys are underground pit fighters.
Well, that's what I was asking you when we were just watching it. Is Rip supposed to be just like a professional wrestler or just a really street fighter? But no, he's a wrestler.
And these guys are underground street fighters.
So he tried to go with his ego and say, Brill, the guy who took on Zeus, and said, oh, listen, you have to fight this guy or else you're a nobody kind of guy.
But the pro wrestling company that owns Rip would not let him fight an underground street fight.
But they didn't have a say in this one, so we have to assume that Rip pretty much controls the interests of the company. Because they didn't introduce any of Rip's, Rip was a solo act in this one. So, I mean, there was nobody involved at all. But,
no, he wasn't a solo act. He had his trainer, he had his brother. He had that girl who came later in that was supposed to be woo him.
Do you think that really happened? Like Ted Turner sent some girl to woo Hulk Hogan to try to like infiltrate the. Who knows? Exactly. That's a good point. Right? Who the hell knows? But no, it was. Look. I think it should have won some Academy Awards.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you know,
that shit bomb of 1989.
I gotta tell you, I want to look up who was nominated in '89, and we'll put it against any of those movies. Now look, the acting wasn't great, the writing wasn't great, the plot wasn't great. Fine. I still like the movie. All three aspects of the movie were bad. The writing, the acting, and the plot.
In this movie, alright, now we're gonna get into this. I like Zeus in this movie better than Zeus as a wrestler. Because this movie influenced them in actual wrestling to throw Zeus in as a professional wrestler.
Right. Kind of like they did with Mr. T and Rocky. Right. They just threw them in there, and the whole thing, he wasn't acting good on the set, and he was having a lot of problems. When did they introduce Zeus into wrestling? What was the actual event? Was it a Saturday Night's Main Event?
Well, he didn't wrestle much. He was there more just to come out and do interviews and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And like to back up Macho Man, because he was like boys with Macho Man at the time.
If I gave you an over and under on how many words Zeus said in this movie, if I said he said 10 words, would you take the over or under? No, 15 words.
Yeah, how many? I'm trying to.
He didn't say many words. He said Zeus a few times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he went over 10 words. His script was very easy. He was probably like an idiot when he first came into acting.
And he screamed a lot too, though. He did a lot of, ah! This was Zeus's thing. He'd like hitting people in the back.
But does count as a word? Does count as a word in the script?
He stretched his arms out and go, ah!
Yeah, he had that unibrow. That was not even a unibrow. It was like
the craziest unibrow in the history of unibrow.
It was the stupidest looking thing ever.
But it's half a unibrow.
But he was very diesel, and look, the reason why I liked the movie because I was big into wrestling in '89.
And
I loved Hulk Hogan
too.
And like Hulk Hogan could
I was big into wrestling.
But Hulk Hogan could do no wrong in my eyes.
He did for me.
But you were still a Hogan fan after the movie, though, I'm sure.
I was, but.
Well, you were disappointed in his acting skills.
This didn't make me want to run around and see Suburban Commando.
Oh, it made me run out and see Suburban Commando. Let me tell you something.
Definitely not me.
Granted, this movie was better than Suburban Commando, but
this movie was better than Suburban Commando.
Actually, no. Hogan, let me tell you, Hogan did a good acting job.
Maybe it was because I didn't see Suburban Commando.
No, maybe Suburban Commando was just as good. I see they're equal. But what would be, before we continue, what would be the best wrestling movie that you've seen that they actually made? I mean, they didn't make many.
You mean overall?
Yeah, I mean...
The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke, The Wrestler.
Oh, that was produced by the WWE Studios?
No, I'm talking about
you're talking wrestling movie in general. Okay. Well, yeah, that's no hands down. Yeah, The Wrestler was... that's a good point. What would be the best wrestling movie?
I'd say The Wrestler. I've seen a few actual movies.
I guess you're right. It probably would be The Wrestler. Because you had the
it was depressing as hell.
You had the Fighting in the Family, which was okay, but The Wrestler was probably better than that. Mickey Rourke was great, and that was based upon a lot of real life stuff that actually happened.
Yeah, they threw a bunch of guys into a blender
yeah,
and made them into one.
It looked like it was based on ECW, if you ask me, because it was like crazy blood in those. In that particular thing.
But what movies did you say you've seen about wrestling?
That's what I'm trying to think. What movies did I see about like actual professional wrestling, not actual wrestling like...
Not just a movie involving a wrestler, a movie that was about wrestling.
Yeah, there's actually not many.
Did you ever see Body Slam with Roddy Piper? Did you ever see that stupid movie?
No.
Maybe we'll have to watch that.
I see more movies about actual ultimate fighting type movies, but then I actually seen wrestling movies. I can't even think of any actual wrestling movies. But didn't Thunder Lips kick Rocky's ass in the beginning of? But Rocky ended up winning, right?
Yeah, but then they did the whole thing. It was supposed to be for charity.
Right. Oh, well, that was the whole thing. But Thunder Lips took it way too seriously.
Yeah, but then the whole thing when they were facing him, he's like, "Why'd you act so crazy?" He's like, "That's part of the business."
It's part of the business, right? Yeah, that was his best acting performance of all time in that movie.
Right now we went off track.
We went off track.
We went off track.
We got derailed.
About this particular stupid movie.
But I'm gonna go back to saying that, looking at it from when I was a kid perspective to now, I still like it. I have no problem with it. I mean, look, it is cheesy. It has a lot of stupid scenes. Everything about it is pretty much terrible.
Hogan is terrible.
I'm not gonna lie. It is a terrible type movie.
Hogan is terrible.
But there's some terrible movies that I like.
No, Hogan is terrible in this movie. It sounds like every scene of Hogan is dubbed.
What I didn't like about it, if there's any negative to the movie, is that he has so many facial expressions that they focus on.
Stupid.
It's just really stupid facial expressions.
Really stupid facial expressions.
But...
And that one where they're facing off and he looks like he got shot with a tranquilizer gun.
Right. He was sedated in one scene when he's facing off against...
Zeus comes off a helicopter with...
And a kid's charity.
The guy who's supposed to be Ted Turner. He comes off a helicopter at some kid's charity that rip him.
Yeah, he was holding them back. He was holding the kids back.
And Zeus is doing his crazy face because Zeus has the same exact face. Zeus does not change his face.
Yeah, there was method acting through the whole movie. That was his whole thing.
He has the same wide bug eyes, like almost rolling into the back of his head.
Yeah, no.
Like the screaming on his face.
Yeah. And in fact, even in the movie Friday, he had the same expression. That's his expression.
Yeah. Zeus, who is Tiny Lister, also Debo from Friday.
Friday, yes.
Debo from Friday.
You just got knocked the fuck out, right?
Right, he's not changing his face the whole time.
No, he don't change his thing.
But Rip is looking at him, and he looks like he got shot with like an elephant gun. His eyes are like sagging. It's like.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. And then the way that...
thought it was great?
Well, look, I don't want to say great, because people are going to watch the movie like, this guy's a maniac. But it was very entertaining. Let's put it like that. It's very entertaining to me as a wrestling fan. I think that people that are not wrestling fans will look at it like, this is a bunch of bullshit. In fact, it would get 2 thumbs down big time, and it's shit. But it's just diarrhea shit. But it's just fucking horror. I mean, look. I'm looking at it from a perspective. It's very entertaining, and I kind of like the movie. Look, it's not going to win Academy Awards, whatever the case may be. In fact, imagine the WWE...
See, this ain't even a movie that I like. Like, Over the Top is a horrible movie, right? But I can't watch this over and over like I could watch Over the Top. Over the Top was a terrible movie, but it was an entertaining terrible movie.
See,
this isn't even an entertaining terrible movie.
See, you hit on the nose. Over the Top was an entertaining terrible movie.
This
You're right.
isn't an even... entertaining.
But what would you call an entertaining, terrible movie? You can't call it good, but it's just very entertaining. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. It's a very horrible, entertaining movie, right? Over the Top was a. You're right. You can watch it. You can watch the movie over and over again 100 times and say, I don't even like this movie, but I keep watching it.
For me, this doesn't have replayability.
I guess that's why I never watched it more than twice. But except this is my third time. Kickboxer is a terrible, entertaining. Yeah, you're right about that.
I can watch Kickboxer when it's on. It's a terrible, entertaining movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie since I first saw it. I think. Yeah, I can't
No
watch it
Holds
either.
Barred over and over again. Okay, first off, alright.
No. You're right. If it's on TV, you can't be like, I'm gonna switch to that. I would switch to Suburban Commando because that's sometimes on TV. I like to do that. You had the Undertaker in it too, and some other wrestlers.
So he gets baited into fighting.
Yes, he gets baited into fighting Zeus.
On the Battle of the Tough Guys.
Yeah, basically because he beat up his brother.
Alright, and they're definitely just trying to set him up to murder him on... This whole thing was to set him up to be murdered on national television.
Well, I'm not going to try to go in depth as to maybe.
Zeus tries to murder him with the turnpost.
What is Battle of the Tough Guys?
Zeus rips the turnpost out of the
Well, that's why they're on the referees in the ring, because it's no...
Well, first off, Zeus is also smashing the referees left and right, and they're going flying out of the ring.
Dude, it's called No Holds Barred for a reason. No Holds Barred. Perfect name.
Murder someone on national television.
It was far-fetched. Yes, I totally agree. It was far-fetched. But I thought it was very entertaining. I'm not going to say I loved it, but you're right. It was a horrible movie that was very entertaining. Just like the other ones we did, Class of 1989, and just like the other one that we did with the Segway Camp.
That movie doesn't exist, Mike. Class of 1989 doesn't exist.
Class of 84. Okay? Whatever.
No, we didn't do a review of that movie. We talked about it in the gang movies. Anyway.
Okay. I like the movie.
Off to sleep. Wipe the old movies off to sleep.
So basically, Brel has Zeus beat up Rip's brother to try to bait him into fighting Zeus. And the fighting scene, like we mentioned while we were watching the movie, I thought it was a lot more dramatic than it was. I thought he choked him out and beat him, but all he did was like slap him around, and he ended up in a wheelchair with a black eye. So then Zeus is like, Rip'em is like, I have to get revenge. Like any good brother would do. Any good brother would do that.
Rip him up, brother.
And he had that old guy, like almost.
So that baits him into fighting Battle of the Tough Guys. No way his network would have let him fight Battle of the Tough Guys.
Right, unless he went off script somehow. But they don't examine that part. It was all about Brel's company, the something and TV.
If we're going to get into the technicalities, especially when it comes to network.
Well, I believe
network meanie pants.
I think with this movie, you're supposed to suspend disbelief, kind of. Like you're supposed to just like look
So
at
it's supposed to be Ted Turner, because Ted Turner started up WCW. To go against Vince McMahon.
And let me tell you, it makes perfect sense. I'm sure none of them are going to ever admit it. I'm sure whoever wrote look, obviously, who got final approval? Vince McMahon probably got final approval for this movie. So he's like, yeah, let's fucking do it. It was his idea to use the Ted Turner type. Ted Turner's like the evil... Look, Ted Turner and Vince McMahon always been going at it. Yo, didn't Ted Turner come up with that football league after...
Well, now they're going at it now because he has AEW.
Right, he has AEW now, so maybe we'll see some kind of movie about this.
But, okay, so... They're basically just trying...
If anybody thinks we're going to give a review of just what we're going to say we're going to give a review of, it doesn't work like that.
They're trying to...
We always go off the rails.
They want to murder him on television. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's like, what do you think you're going to get out of this?
They must have to sign a waiver. Because let me tell you, remember the underground scene when the people are welding? They're actually welding at the same time. A waiver or two. If you die during this production, you can have a suit.
If you witnessed the murder, sorry. Sorry.
But
this was also before TV 14 and TVMA.
But if you say what you say is true, Ted Turner's willing to kill people.
TV 14 and TVMA, it's before they started doing those types of things for the...
Right, right.
So what was it? Yo, this would have just been like...
Oh, that would have to be... Right. It's not a family-friendly movie when anything goes. But that network executive, yeah, exactly the same thing that we're talking about. That network executive, if what you're saying is true, that Ted Turner was a monster. Because this movie makes him look like some kind of crazy.
But then, alright, the last battle, the tough guy ends with what? How many casualties?
Well, 2 casualties. Zeus goes out the...
Two people dead on this freaking...
Yeah. And both, because they did it on their own, because I don't think actually Rip 'em...
No, Hogan, or Rip 'em, sorry, I won't call him Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, don't call
I'll call him Rip 'em.
Show some respect.
Foof, I'll call him Foof, Rip 'em. Rip 'em murders Zeus on television. He murders him.
Well, he throws him out and he goes down. I don't think he meant to do it. Just like when
No, he was standing at the edge of the balcony. Zeus is standing at the edge of the balcony, and he does his running axe handle to...
But Zeus just happens to fall out of the edge of the balcony, and he
They're
dies.
on the balcony. Where did Hogan think he was gonna land?
I don't Rip 'em. I don't think that Rip 'em.
Where did Rip 'em think he was gonna land on a batch of cotton candy?
But I don't think he meant to kill him, and
land.
he didn't try to kill Grell, the executive, who pretty much he threw a table. How did it work? He threw a chance with the thing.
He starts destroying
and
all
then he
the
backs
equipment.
into the equipment.
He's destroying all the equipment.
That's some shabby equipment. How do you back into some equipment on the network and then you get electrocuted?
But there's
How does that
2
happen?
people dead at the end of this.
Yes, correct. There was 2 casualties.
And then what did the movie end with, Mike?
Huh?
What did the movie end with before the credits came up? Who?
Yes, exactly, right.
It ends with the shot of Rip 'em.
And you have the best
ripping 'em.
fingers to do that because your fingers are
He's
like
ripping
you have like mutant fingers that are longer than most people.
So throw up your mutant fingers.
I don't have mutant fingers like you. You have fingers that go beyond. You're like Elastic Man with those fingers. I mean, they're really huge. But
At least I didn't like this movie.
At least I liked it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Garbage.
I didn't like it. It was entertaining. Look, it's not like I watch it over and over again. It's not like one of those movies that comes on like old school where you could just watch over and over when it was on TV. If this movie's on TV,
I'll watch it to make fun of it. I watch a lot of movies to make fun of them.
if this movie is on, I would check to see if there's anything else on. This would have to be when nothing else is on. Like, not even Sweep. It'd have to be like some crappy, you know. Do they even show this movie on TV anymore? I never see this movie on TV anymore, right? You know.
Who cares?
They're not gonna show it on TNT. On TNT.
Who cares?
Who cares? Oh, come on. Anyway,
Alright, so
to sum it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
If you haven't seen it,
Right.
I'm not saying I'm giving it a thumbs up. No. I'm gonna stick this way. No.
I'll give it.
I'm gonna give it. Is there such a thing as a sideways kind of thing?
I might give it one of these.
I'm gonna give it a rip 'em. That's what I'm doing. And let me tell you
I'll
something.
give it a rip 'em down.
You give him 2 rip 'ems down.
I give him 2 rip 'ems down.
Oh my god.
That's actually a good one. He just came up with that one.
2 rip 'ems.
I'll give him a rip 'em.
What were we talking about earlier when we said rip 'em a new?
Alright, no, there we go. Rip 'em a new one.
What were we talking about? Rip 'em a new one. Right, rip 'em a new one. Right.
There you go. That's my rip 'em down.
Oh my god, that's a wide rip 'em a
Rip 'em
new one.
down.
I don't want to be ripped
So
like that.
we watched this crappy movie, No Holds Barred. Mike liked it.
I thought it was entertaining. I don't know if I loved it, but it was good. It was good.
2 rip 'ems down.
You got it, guys.
Later, everybody.
Rip 'em. That's what I'm talking about.